Hello and welcome back to daily number 562. My god. I'm getting to the point where I'm like the days of our lives. I'm going to have an archive of like 12,000 dailies. It's going to be awesome. And someone will watch them all. Because I know that you like when things are a little out of order on my shirt. There we go. In part 1, we basically just looked at the opening. Talked about some considerations, saw HuK's nice moves, cool, and then we saw him do standard stuff, also cool. Noted a little bit about the delay that Sting would have, normal, very reasonable. The more aggressive a player is early, the less aggressive he can be for his follow-up attacks. Or the more delayed those follow-up attacks will be, is another way to think of it. But this is the part in the game where, generally as a caster, I'm like, oh, I hope something crazy happens. Yeah. This is the moment. I'm not gonna lie. I've done a lot of casting of games in this matchup that go stale right now. I'll actually reveal everyone for the moment. The Terran player sees the Colossus, he gets another starport up. He's going for his upgrades. The Protoss gets this and begins teching towards Templar. And the Terran takes this, and it's kind of like a battle of fourths, and then they dance and wiggle, and then one battle decides it all, and then it's just... And I'm even overlooking some of the details, which is that everyone almost gets everything at the exact same time and order. And I'm just sort of like, and I'm like, is there going to be something new? And then I watched this game, and HuK did something that was not only new, but brilliant. And I got so excited about the positioning of it that, that it just, I mean, it made my collar point, is what it did. Alright. Oh my god, the Colossus, oh my god, the Stalkers are there in the shadows. Okay. Now, it looks like my sound has decided to spike up again. The classic bug I deal with. And it actually is a bug. Heart of the Swarm actually is getting louder and louder over time. I did a whole bunch of tests today to determine it, and it is in fact a glitch. And I have no idea. All my sound settings are as to be expected. So, here's a reasonable question. Very reasonable thought. What next for Protoss for the 4th base? We almost always take the 4th base here. Sometimes we'll see a Protoss take a 4th base here, but like not really. Moving on. So look up here. Normal charge, Templar timing. But HuK started doing something that just kind of struck me as a little odd. He was pushing up through here. Right? This is an area where Terran normally will have a huge arc. And this base is where the Protoss is almost always attack, pushing up here or occasionally collecting units and pushing this way. I mean, that's even why this mine from Sting is down. But watch, ladies and gentlemen, watch. Okay, so he starts pushing up here. And it's not just basic, blunt attack, and that's it. It's not just he expands to this location and that's it. There's going to be some interrelationships going on. So this is normal. Pulls back. Terran army's getting intimidating. We'll be aggressive with Blink Stalkers. Normal, normal, normal. Terran player getting more barracks. Getting another starport for the Vikings. More gateways because the Protoss is like, I'm tricking you. I'm going for Templar. When no Terrans really going to be tricked by that because they play StarCraft a lot. And we'll always know. As things move on a lot. Come on. Come on. Oh yeah, this is one thing that just HuK does a lot that I think is just awesome. He just strings pylons in directions, especially where he wants to expand, like this. And then I saw this. Come on, do it, HuK. Do it! Alright, Terran expand moving, or Terran force moving out, no big deal there. Come on, HuK. Alright, he doesn't quite do it then. Some expected exchanges. HuK, he's gonna expand here. Alright, I'll just spoil the fun for you. Expand, HuK, do it, man. Bam. Now, This seems like a weird spot to expand. And honestly, for no other reason than almost everyone expands here because it's close. Most of the time, players say you need to keep your bases tight against a Terran because the medevac drops are so aggressive. But watch how this interrelationship is going to happen. First of all, this attack angle is unbelievable. And I hope to God that the volume is not spiking up yet more. This is probably one of the best attack angles of all time. And most notably, I want you just to see visually that Sting's units are moving away from our key expansion. So sure, this is a little bit of a zealot cluster F. That's fine. HuK cleans it up, no problem. But at this moment, I still would... Oh, not that moment. Jesus, replay. Oh my God, I misclicked. Ah, can I go back? No, I can't go back anymore. When HuK was moving through this way, in other words, if a Terran army is here above this cool symbol, we can easily push it away from our expansion. Very nicely. And as time goes on, HuK does make, an attempted poke here before pulling back, which, by the way, is really nice. And then just goes and secures this watchtower. Oh, yeah. Continues trying to push all the way up here. Remember how I was like, this is kind of a weird spot to push? HuK's going to continue to push there. So, here is the moment. Here is the moment we've all been waiting for. Here is the moment. This holding of this watchtower and attacking down this alley is going to accomplish 3 big things. Number 1, if for some reason our opponent pushes us back up this way and we're forced to retreat, we are retreating towards a nicely defensible location from ground. There's not the issue of the vulnerability here, or we can pull back to this nicely defensible location by ground. We're pulling back in a way that defends this expansion, and we can reinforce no problem. The second thing that it does is that obviously holding this watchtower puts a lot of pressure on Terran to be here. So we're sort of getting a little bit of control of him. And if we are... Oh crap, I lost track of my list. Wait, I'm scrolling up in my document. Where was it? Wait, oh, I had a list of 3. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Alright, I'm going to try to reconstruct the list of 3 that I had in my head because I accidentally closed my text document. The first one is that if we retreat back... Yeah, if we retreat back, we are protecting this expansion really nicely. Also, yeah, we are blocking a big attack path. We have real total lockdown of this, and again, if any attack path he comes at us, we are still between ourselves and our expansion. But most notably, if he tries to chase down this army, he's moving away from this 4th base and this 3rd base. So it means warp and pressure at these backsides are much stronger. So the normal Protoss logic is do huge attacks at the 3rd, huge attacks at the 4th. What we're going to see HuK do is he's going to do huge attacks at the 2nd, which makes the 4th and 3rd a lot more vulnerable. So this is just, I think this is brilliant. And technically you might stop and say, well, isn't expanding here equivalent? Well, not really, because if we retreat our army and we pull up this way, it's very easy for them to dart down, pick off this expansion, and pull away. And if we pull our army down here, it's very easy for Terran to swing up to this top side, with our base being down there, and then we're boned yet again. But in this circumstance, there's not a real good retreat path. If Terran moves down here, we can still crunch it from behind. We also have this narrow alley and this narrow alley to exploit. So here, look at this. HuK peppering the map with pylons along this backside. Just holding this watchtower. Look at Terran. Look at how clinched up Terran is. He's just stuck. So great. Just start moving up here. In my eyes, I mean, this is not a good angle at all. But if Sting tries to get excited, then these are super vulnerable. So here's HuK moving in again. Forcing the whole army in there. We might win this engagement. We might have to pull back, like here. This seems like a terrible problem for HuK. He's just going to get chased down and sniped. So HuK just counterattacks down here. So again, notice, pulling back here, both defends this base. Will semi-defend this base. This is a little bit more difficult to defend. And then we counterattack. This is super vulnerable. Isn't this awesome? Terrans don't normally push up this way. Terrans normally want to push up here and then push up this way. But HuK's army positioning aggressively by this Zelnire watchtower, it's really good. And also, holding this watchtower is an obvious choice. This watchtower is not as important for us. All them damages being done. So look at this. HuK, most players, again, would want to shove at this fourth. Shove at this third. HuK just shoves at the second again. Just again and again and again. Really weird play by normal measures. And just pulls back because he has a warp in coming into the backside. The simple statement is that most players try to kill the critical expansions with big armies. This entire play from HuK is trying to kill the critical expansion with small counterattack armies. Shoving in the front, pulling right on back, sacking units, storming the key spots. And of course, if the Terran player decides to split off and try to assault these pylons over here, you kill him. Pretty straightforward. Alright, great. HuK wins shortly hereafter. I mean, Sting has not even really gotten the chance to move out. It's just so nice that when taking this watchtower is the key control point. So nifty. And here, the final big one attack. Now, I'm sure that this has happened to all of you, attacking like this, and then these north expansions are vulnerable. This one is actually a little more safe because it's more tucked back, but this fourth especially is very vulnerable. Maybe you'll lose it to a big army, maybe you'll lose it to just 2 Marauders, some Marines, and Medevacs, but, you know. This is a clearly straightforward position for HuK. Just kill the bases, pull back, kill the army. Win the game! Alright, cool. Nice. Game is now done. Alright, nice. So, I want to hop into a second game between HuK and Sting, where, again, we get to do this kind of interesting analysis at the start. Where is my replay folder? There it is. And it's another game on Cloud Kingdom. This one. Hopefully, the sound resets. It seems to reset in between games, and I have no idea why. So let's swap the players. Good. So cool. We have HuK here again. We have Sting down there again. So let's start doing our analysis of what goes on in the opening game. And then we'll sort of see a slightly different play from HuK, and we'll see a little bit of how this positioning here with the expansion there can go wrong. So great, we go Gateway, Assimilator. Oh, there's Pylon, good. Gade. Yep, everything is as expected. So rather than build the first Zealot, HuK actually gets the Scout off and concludes, alright, cool. Excuse me, rather than scouting with the Zealot, He gets his probe in there and says, alright, I see what's up, that's cool. With a gas, we really do have to get this first Zealot, because very fast 2 racks plays or just anything that involves a lot of Marauders kills us unless we have this one Zealot up. Unless we're a micro god, but, you know, most of us are mortals, generally. So upon seeing this, he is either going for Reaper, or going for some sort of 2 racks Marauder play, or just 1 racks Marauder, or he's going for a Fast Factory. So HuK's going to move right on out. HuK did not see a super fast Tech Lab. So that would indicate that it is not going to be super fast Marauders. And here comes the expand. Bam. So here at around 4:30, we do see the Reaper. So obviously this is not the ideal position to be in with this stuff sort of spread out here. But still, I want you to go through the steps of what can the opponent be doing. 3 things right now. Can be going for a command center and kind of doing basically a 1 racks Reaper expand straight into more bio. He could also just be going straight up for the factory, or he could be doing some sort of big 1 base stim all-in-ish kind of things. I like to break it into 2 categories. He's either going bio or tech. A lot more focus on the barracks or a lot more focus on the tech stuff. If he is going for an expand or for a big push, I'm still going to put that in the same category because the responses are essentially the same. The things we're looking for are essentially the same. Very notably, HuK is doing his best to sort of control his way out of this. And this is one of the reasons why I say players are getting real serious about going 2 Stalkers always. So great, upon seeing this, and this thing lit up, we can conclude really early pressure, but probably an expand. Just something barracksy in nature. So great, how is HuK going to respond? Something barracksy in nature, an early expand with barracks, or pressure with barracks. In the last game, we saw HuK just throw down his robo facility right around now. But HuK's instead getting the mothership core up early makes sense. If he is going for barracksy stuff, we need to make sure that we have enough energy to turn this Nexus into a cannon to defend it. Also, if he is going for some aggression at the start, or excuse me, if he is going for an expansion, we're just going to pull this same play again. Kind of seeing the similarity between the opening last game and the opening this game. I mean, HuK's just checking, okay, there's no barracks being floated down there, there's no other units, so okay. Still really feeling he could be attacking me, or he could be expanding. But there's really no chance of there being any sort of big tech because we saw this tech lab. There's really no factory coming up. So with this happening, it's very clear. Oh, my opponent is going for an expand because we saw the expand. The Reaper will give his life. No, he will not. He will actually do anything but give his life. And it's this activity with the Stalkers that I like so much. In both games, it was these Stalkers getting a lot of vision. Actually, I'll relate it in this way. In the first game, the Stalkers moved forward and got reads and then came all the way back at just the right time. And in this game, the Stalkers were forced to... Oh, crap, I hit the wrong time, and now my replay will never load properly ever again. Ah! In this game, why did these things switch again? Man, this interface is just going bug nut crazy with me. But yeah, we have to bring this Stalker back. And normally players will want to be as passive as possible. But again, note the read. Okay, he's either getting ready to do a big attack against me, Or he's getting ready to do a big expand, but he's very unlikely to do anything tech-oriented because there is the stim being researched. So this is actually ingenious to get this up in the face with the Stalker, and this Stalker too, really getting up in the face to answer the question, expand or attack.
Research complete.
I'm not hallucinating, right? HuK did he begin this game in this color? Jeez, these things just keep us switching. So, alright, cool. Every time I do a daily, I feel like I'm going crazy. The sound's getting louder and the colors are switching all the time. Whew! So, alright, nice, cool, strong pressure. Very difficult for a Terran player who goes Reaper not to deal with this as a problem. And I think very reasonable for HuK to sort of follow up by applying Stalker pressure.
Defense systems failing.
Accidentally loses the Mothership Core to a stim, but it happens. So here is... It's these follow-up moves that I'm not as big a fan of. Like, I would prefer to do the pressure with the 3 Stalkers and then not do this follow-up Stalker stuff. Just do something like, you know, Double Forge, Robo. Anything that goes along the normal vein, because now that we've built these Stalkers, we really have to do, like, huge damage. And this is where I actually think that HuK begins to kind of fall a little bit behind. It just gets overwhelmed. Despite that micro being very nice, Stalker death occurs, more Stalkers try to morph in to help deal with it. And in this spot, I would almost feel obligated to go Blink because I've devoted so much down the path of Stalkers. I don't want to just build these Stalkers and then abandon it. But I think that's a good place to stop for now. So we're just going to go to break. When we come back, we're just going to watch part 2. Or part 3. We're going to watch part 3. Yeah, I always say it right.